Slept yet, my G's? Alright, my G's, I've got a sick one for you today. This is an old school drum and bass processing technique for the parallel distortion. And it's, yes, intermodulating distortion, intermodulation, non-linear distortion, layering chaos. It's wonderful. So basically, it's for your drums. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking a drum beat. Any old break will do, or whatever, or just, you know, the whole drum group in your project. And we're going to be running the break in a new group together with a sine wave through distortion. Okay, so you're going to take your drums here and you're going to put a sine wave with them using Vital or something like that. I've got a Vital down here. Same kind of root note as my track as well, D sharp. Okay, you play them together, put them together in a group, and then on the group we're just going to process them with a bunch of distortion. Okay, so we're going to crank on the distortion here. And here's where the magic happens. So you're basically getting new harmonics created because of the intermodulation between the sine wave and the drum transients going into the distortion together. Okay, so it creates this sort of non-linear distortion where the distortion will kind of follow the drum transients, but it'll sort of create new sounds based off of them, you know. So it's actually very different to if you were to take the sine wave out or take the drums out. It's only when they're combined together that you have these new harmonics that are created. It's almost like you're sort of squashing everything together and it doesn't quite know what to do, and it's spitting out these new drum sound harmonics that are sort of like a bit late, a bit delayed, a bit in a weird place, and they have like this new kind of sound on them, you know. So it's very, very interesting. And then what we can do is we can take that that new creation and high pass it and use it as a layer to beef up the high end in our drums and give it like a really nice new vibe and character. So that's all we do. We just set that up. You can dial in the distortion settings. I use the overdrive on this one, the kilohertz distortion, and I spread the sound a little bit as well. You can dial it in so it's like fairly clean still. If you go too high, it could sound good up there, to be honest, but you want to just find a balance that you think sounds good. Okay, so once you sort of found that balance and the drums are sort of being intermodulated and you've got this weird new harmonic crispiness in the high end happening, then you want to just render that out, like export that together, you know, whether you bounce out the project, you know, just as a WAV, and then once you've sort of rendered it out, then you've got the sample down here, right? So this is then the exported sample. And it's all the things that it's done to the drums in the high end, particularly the sort of hi-hats and rides, where that's all the cool stuff which we can use to layer back in with our original drum beat here, you know? So we've got to take out all of the low end and just isolate those high end kind of harmonics, you know? So firstly, we're just going to EQ out a lot of the low end up to around 1K or so. And I've got all that nice crazy stuff that's happened to the rides and the hats up here, which I want, but I've got these loud kick and snare transients in there still, you know. We don't necessarily need those, so we're going to shape the transients to take those off. I'm doing like 100% minus on the attack on a transient shaper. So they're still in there, but they're a lot, you know, more reduced. But you can really focus on the sort of cymbal kind of layers in the drums now, you know. And it's okay to have some of those little kick and snare transients in as well, because they're sort of a bit different to the original as well, you know. This is optional, but you could stereo this layer out a bit more, which I have done here, just 14%. The little tight white blur 50 millisecond convolution, just stereoing it out a little bit. And then at this point, you want to be blending it back in with your original drums here together, you know? So one last thing is a little bit of an extra low cut, similar place as before, but around 850, just to tighten up the shape. And then, yeah, together with the beat, then you can really hear all the difference that's made in the high end. You know, it sounds wonderful now. So you can mix it down a bit if you want, but it's quite nice up at 0. Maybe knock it down a dB or 2. 1.5. And now got that lovely extra high-end polish on top of the drums, you know? Play it like in context. We take it out. Back in. You hear how much extra energy there is now in the drums, especially in the high end. It's giving you this whole like extra layer of depth and harmonics and flavor in the top part of your drums. So it's a really cool technique, and you can try this out on many of your projects and many of the tracks that you're working on, and you'll usually always get a great result from it. And just because of the way the technique works to intermodulate the harmonics and create like a non-linear distortion variant of the kind of drum sound, it just kind of always tends to work by creating just a great blend of harmonics that will naturally fit back on your drums as a new layer, with enough of a variation to the harmonics that they're different so that they blend back well, but also, you know, not overly cooked either, so that it's not like, you know, too chaotic and you're trying to blend it back in. So it's got a good balance, this technique of getting new harmonics that would fit well and give you like extra excitement in your drums, you know? So that's it for today. That's my little tutorial on parallel distortion on your drums using a very particularly exciting technique, which is, you could call it intermodulation distortion, or you could call it sine wave distortion, something like that, you know, or non-linear distortion. One of those terms will do. But anyway, that's the technique. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and thanks very much for watching. If you're new to the channel, or if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I really appreciate it. Leave us a like and a cheeky comment down below, and check out the links in my videos as well for preset packs for Vital, Phase Plant, Serum and Current, one-on-one lessons, mastering services, and a wonderful Patreon community with Discord as well. All right, that's it for me today. More from me soon. Much love.